Thank you for joining the Improving the End User Experience with Streamlined Help Desk and Ticketing webinar. My name's Karen Recoskie. I'm a product manager here at Enable, and I cover the area of Help Desk Manager, which we'll be talking about today. And I'm joined by my colleague Patrick Albert, who is also a product manager at Enable, and he'll be participating in the presentation as well. So if we take a look at the agenda, what we'll be covering in this webinar. First off, we're going to talk about the help desk and your ticketing system, your help desk service in general, and why this is a really important part of your business. What do end users get from this experience? What do they want to take away from it, and what kind of problems do they want to solve? What's important to them? Next, Pat will definitely jump into the webinar and talk about how do we deliver this level of service and satisfy our customers, and also how to look at the numbers within your help desk system and analyze results and kind of see some trends and see what's going on and what you can take away from that. Finally, we'll have a look at how you can continuously improve this process. And although it's not listed here, we will take a quick peek at the HDM or Help Desk Manager demonstration at the end, just to highlight some of the points that we've talked about. So let's start off with why your help desk is vital. Generally speaking, as an MSP, you likely want to deliver a non-intrusive and very seamless experience and service for your customers. However, things happen. Servers need management, clients need access to various systems, and often they'll call you and these are very urgent requests that need to be actioned right away. And configuration tasks are required and need to be done. Many times solving these challenges that customers are facing provides the most common point for you to come in contact with them. Since this type of customer contact is often caused by a problem or an urgent issue, something that's considered really critical to your customer, you want to make sure that the process and resolution is very fast and efficient. And this provides an opportunity for you to gain and reestablish their confidence in the services you provide, as well as make a really great impression on them. It's also a time when you can prove your value through showing them that they have a solid technical support base that they can count on, and that you can very quickly provide solutions and resolutions to their issues that they're encountering. Being able to resolve problems that your customers contact you with means that you not only get them back to business, but they can also have a great impact on your own business as you provide this elevated level of service. Often, help desk services means that you can gain contacts in other areas of the client's business as well. Often you might be dealing with IT departments, but there's no reason why there may be contacts from your customer's HR department or operations contacting you. So it really gives you a chance to interface with a lot of different contacts within your clients. So all that to say, your customer's help desk experience is really important and really vital. Help Desk Manager provides you with a number of different tools to help you with this important customer touch point, which is what we've been talking about. It offers a simple ticketing interface for customers to access and is easily customizable in order to match your business and their business. So the types of requests that they're going to come in with and the types of problems that they normally need resolution for. Help Desk Manager also supports your business workflow, in that it can be set up to reflect the technical areas of or request types that are most frequently used by your customers, and get related issues into the hands of the right technician as fast as possible. As you'll see over the course of this webinar, keeping track of customer requests and analyzing the trends can mean improvements for both you and for your clients. Help Desk Manager is a fairly new product for Enable, just released last month. And it can be used on its own as a standalone ticketing system or help desk, something that can help you keep track of all the issues and challenges that your customers face. But it also can be integrated fully with your Incentral environment if you're running one. And this will allow you to share device, customer, and ticket information between the two systems very seamlessly. Right now, HDM is, as I refer to it, Help Desk Manager, is an on-premise install, which you can purchase and trial. But we are looking as well at a hosted version, which should be released very soon. So, we talked about how the help desk that you maintain for your customers is an important part of that relationship between you and them. However, a solid help desk solution can also provide important insight into what's going on within your customer's environment. It can help you track important feedback on how your customers feel you're doing, as well as quickly see high-frequency problems as they come up. Often you may find that many users are facing the same issues again and again, and this may be an indication or point to the fact that certain processes need to be improved, or certain steps and other processes need to be documented so that everyone can find them very quickly and very easily. And by doing this, you might also be able to catch issues early before they get worse. From your side of things, the help desk can be a great starting point for technicians to start their workday. When issues can be automatically assigned, they are quickly made aware, your technicians are made aware of these priorities as soon as they start their day, and they know right away the top actions that need to be taken. And streamlining how customer issues get into the hands of technicians means quick problem resolution, because the most knowledgeable person can automatically be assigned to address the problem. Help Desk Manager is a tool that can definitely help you to achieve these goals. It offers a simple web-based interface, that interface that I mentioned earlier, and we'll see it ahead in the demo as well, where customers can log their tickets, and if they want and if they prefer, if they have an issue, they can actually send that via email and have a ticket automatically created for them, as well as take a look at the history of past tickets. So maybe there's some information or a contact or something that they can take, or as well as the status of past tickets very quickly and easily within that interface. It's an affordable solution that can grow and scale with your business and as your client base grows. And as we'll see in the demo also a bit later, Help Desk Manager provides that ability to get a quick overview of tickets, customers, and other trends. With a visual dashboard, we have a quick screenshot of it here on the screen, but we'll also take a look at that in the demo. And the ability to drill down into each of those areas that are of interest to get more details. Tickets can not only be automatically assigned, but also escalated within predefined workflows and escalation paths. Finally, there are a set of predefined reports that come with the solution that deliver ticketing and billing information, and these can be used as is right out of the box, or you can modify them to make them more suitable to your needs. Regardless of what the size of your business is, your clients want quick resolution to their issues and zero downtime. For them, their issues are mission critical and they need to be addressed right away, as they're critical to get up and running for them in their own business day. They're concerned about making their own business efficient, just as you are, and as they should be. So let's take a look how you might deliver this service for your customers. And Pat's going to jump in here and talk about how you might go about analyzing the results and some of the best practices about using your help desk system.
All right, thanks, Karen. So I'm just joining this webinar today just to bring some experience to the table. I've had a lot of experience running, going from one-man shops to running help desks where there are 3,000 tech support reps around the world. And one really important piece of this that I wanted to highlight as a part of this is how important understanding your service delivery model is and the metrics associated with it. And really, to kind of piece and parcel with that, understanding your metrics is the most important step to help you drive down that delivery cost while increasing your profitability and scalability. So over the next couple of minutes, I'm just going to give you a quick summary of some very important metrics, how they can relate to your business, how you can take a quick look at them, and then I'll pass it back to Karen just to show you how you can implement some of these within a help desk solution. Now, here at Enable, we really truly believe that automation is the future, And whenever I mention that in front of a crowd, I always see everybody nodding, and everyone's always in agreement. There's never any discussion that, the future is all about automation. But in reality, most companies don't have the budget to have a full-time employee dedicated to automation. So that obviously comes a bit of a problem. So if you don't have a resource that can work on automation, how can you automate and reduce your costs? But even if you can't justify having someone fully dedicated, you should at least have someone keeping an eye on some of the metrics. And these metrics will really help you understand what tickets that are occurring frequently and how you can reduce the time to resolution through automation. And again, this is where metrics really come in. If you don't deep dive your ticket metrics, you won't have the visibility into that low-hanging fruit. Maybe there's a simple printer issue and your techs just have to restart the print spooler. That's a fairly quick call, but if it happens 10, 15 times a day, there's a huge opportunity there to reduce your costs. And as a technician, and I've been there, it's really, really easy to get stuck in the day-to-day issues and not realize a trend unless it's 5 calls back to back. Now, analyzing this data can be done in many, many different ways, depending on your preferences. Some people just like using dashboards as visual cues and leveraging the drill downs to actually take a look at the tickets, and some people prefer the raw data dumps and to use Excel's pivot table feature. These are 2 fairly common ways of looking at it, but the real message here is it's very important to keep a very close eye on your data. Now, regardless how you perform this task, there's a couple questions to always keep in mind when you're taking a look at the data. First, are your ticket profiles, meaning your issues and sub-issues, do they provide you with enough data to trend issues? So are your profiles either too high a level, meaning that it's a broad internet category versus you need to understand whether it's a wireless issue or an MSP or an ISP issue? And how many levels are you having your customer's profile? So in a lot of cases, if you introduce too many profiles, your customers will either not select the right one, or they'll just select the first one in the list, or just opt to not select it at all. So there's got to be a very delicate balance between how deep you're forcing your customers to select within profiles versus the amount of data that you need out of it. And then as a follow-up onto that, do you have your technicians assign an internal root cause type profile to the ticket? So maybe the customer can profile the issue or the symptom, and then the technician can have another profile that allows them to identify the root cause. And based off all this information, what's your average resolution time per ticket? And on that note, what are your most expensive types of tickets? Understanding the answers to these questions will help you feed the data to your system in a meaningful way so that you can analyze the right types of trends and ultimately identifying opportunities for either automation or opportunities for self-service. So when servicing fixed fee contracts, the ultimate goal here is to prevent the call before it even happens. So as each call you eliminate can probably save your company around $40. If you're in a break-fix model, you can still automate tasks and charge just set fees. So there's a lot of emphasis on understanding your call drivers, understanding your business from a data point of view, and there's a huge importance on setting up the profiles accurately so that when you do need to deep dive this data, it's in a condition where you won't have to load up every single ticket number. And I've been there, where you identify a specific trend, you have all the data exported into Excel or on the screen through a drill down dashboard, and you need another level of data. So you're going through that list ticket by ticket, copy and pasting the ticket number into the form, opening up the ticket, reading through the comments, and then trying to figure out and then add another layer of profiling. So it's really important to have your profile set up correctly and ultimately deep dive that data. Now, as I mentioned, there's several ways of reducing your time to resolution, aka cost per call, or proactively preventing calls. Based off of the data that you would scrub or review as a part of the previous step, one method would be to build automation workflows using scripts or an automation tool such as Enable's Automation Manager. You can also You can also build a system tray icon for your customers with scripts to help them resolve their problems without even having to contact your service desk. And as I mentioned, that's where it really helps drive down your cost by allowing your customers to perform self-service. And on the topic of self-service, you can also embed content right into your ticketing solution, giving them access to knowledge-based articles, previous tickets, suggested answers, etc. And right before I move on, I wanted to really stress the importance of quality documentation. As I just mentioned, having everything documented allows for the customer and future technicians to be able to refer to the notes to solve problems if it ever repeats. So with the customer portal, the customer can log in and say, I had that wireless issue last month. Let me go ahead and review the notes and see what happened, and maybe I can resolve this without actually having to pick up the phone and call them, which is a better experience for everyone. Then they can resolve the problem as quickly and as easy as possible and on their own time, without having to take time out of their presentations or any of the different work they have to do. And this is also really important for future technicians. So if you're getting a specific Windows Update error message and you have that hex code within the ticket, a future technician can search tickets, look for that hex code, find previous tickets that relate to that same issue, and take a look what technicians did previously to resolve the problem. And where this really can fall apart is if steps are missed or not documented, this can actually increase the time to resolution in the future, as either the customers may get stuck, confused, or cause bigger problems by half implementing a solution. So it is extremely important to make sure that the ticket is documented not only from a profile point of view, but also the ticket notes, so helping them describe what type of information, what type of error messages, and all the different steps to resolution. Now, at this point, we've really talked about a couple of key metrics. I've mentioned a couple just in passing, things like time to resolution, understanding your top profiles. But what are some of the other metrics that are really important to the success of your business? And are you tracking them regularly? Furthermore, do you have key goals and a plan to accomplish these goals? So getting stuck in the day-to-day operations is really normal. It happens. But make sure to take the time regularly to understand where your help desk is from a respect to your KPIs or your key performance indicators, so you can catch trends before they actually become an issue. And now that we've been talking quite a bit about reducing calls and resolving issues faster by deep diving data and taking a look at those metrics, but based off previous experience with either large call centers or any experience your customers may have had, mentioning the word metric and mentioning that you're reviewing data may actually scare your technicians or customers. Sometimes there's a perception of when you become a more metric-oriented business, you lose sight on the customer's experience. And in many cases, that's not the reality, but it's very, very important to keep a very close eye on your customer satisfaction rates. You're going to want to survey them on a regular basis by means of an automated survey, and every once in a while touching base over the phone and in person. And this should ultimately roll into your monthly or quarterly meetings. And this helps alleviate the impression of my MSP is focusing really deep on metrics, they're trying to reduce calls from coming into them, but this keeps your quality metric up as high as possible as well. So your customers don't necessarily need to even be impacted by you looking at metrics and trying to prevent calls. You are really focusing on their overall customer experience, and preventing a call is actually a good thing for everybody, not just you, but your customer as well. And so having a tool that can automate these surveys and capture the data in a meaningful way should be really important to your business. You're going to want to make sure that you can configure different surveys for different customers, different issues, etc. You also don't want surveys to be sent on every single ticket, so defining the frequency is also going to be important here as well. So need something that is fairly flexible, allows you to tailor the experience to the customer so they don't feel as though they're just getting a very generic survey. So in conclusion, before I pass you back to Karen, I just wanted to emphasize on two last things. Foster an environment within your service desk to be proactive with every ticket. Now that may mean a simple knowledge base article or calling out the need for an automation, or as something as simple as providing really awesome ticket notes. Lastly, make sure to reserve a bit of time on a regular basis to go through your data. Look through and identify trends on a regular basis, because they can either save you money, or they can help you identify a need that maybe you're not fulfilling, and which may ultimately lead to an additional revenue stream. So, in conclusion there, really important to understand your data, and really important to make sure your customer satisfaction rates are as high as possible. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Karen just to show you a bit of how you can implement some of these suggestions.
Great. Those are great tips, Pat. Thank you very much. So we'll just have a look. I mean, we've covered a lot of content here. Some of it is kind of best practice. Some of it is, what you can use Help Desk Manager for. So why don't we dive in right now and have a look at that. We'll have a look at the workflow that we talked about and some of those items that might come in handy with managing your ticketing environment, keeping your customers happy, and keeping things fast and efficient as well. So if you can see on your screen right now, what you're looking at, if you're not familiar with it or if you haven't seen it yet, this is Help Desk Manager, and this would be your client login page. It's a web-based interface, fairly friendly looking. You can see here that, what I'm looking at is the page that would allow me to log a ticket or a help desk request. And what I can also do before I log in, I seem to be having a problem with one of my servers, and I'm not really sure what that problem may be. I can look at my history and see if maybe there was a related issue that I'd come across in the past. As well as look at, what the status of my previously logged tickets are. But there's nothing really there that seems to relate to the issue that I'm dealing with right now. So we'll go back to the request page. If I start looking through some of the options that are available within this screen, you can see really quickly that when I click on that first request type, so this is the area obviously that I'm going to log that this ticket against to get it into the right bucket for my my service provider. But right away there are a number of FAQs that automatically pop up here to see what's going on within the system or previously documented solutions that I can refer to if there is something that apply to me. Not only that, depending on the request type, I can also narrow it down a little bit more. So I might be looking at a larger area of a request type, but narrowing it down into what the problem is to get it really into the hands of the right technician quickly. For this one, I decided that I'm actually going to log this as a hardware issue. And for this problem, I have a problem connecting to the server. So we'll just, we won't write a whole bunch of details, but can someone please have a look? Also, one of the fields that popped up here was my location. That's important to my technician because they want to know where I'm located for time zone or for, if there's a particular hardware issue that if they have to come on site. So they want that filled in as well. As well, I have a number of devices that I can pick from. So if I want to narrow it down even further and specify what the device is that I'm logging this ticket against. So that's about as much information as I'm going to put in here. The FAQs didn't apply, so let's just get this right into my help desk. I can see that ticket's been logged. It's ticket number 142. And now we're going to switch over to the technician's interface and have a look at what you would see if you were coming in as a technician. Now, currently I'm logged in as the product admin, so I'm administering the system. I'm keeping an eye on my ticket trends, who's working on them, and just making sure everything's set up so that it's as easy to use as possible. From the dashboard interface here, we talked about this quite a bit, but here you can see that I have a number of different graphics or visualizations set up that I can quickly analyze kind of what's going on. So, how quickly am I reacting to my tickets, for instance? Who are my biggest call drivers in terms of customer and request type? These are completely customizable, so these, are very simply set up through the use of a query within Help Desk Manager, and then you can apply the chart right on top and have it positioned here on your dashboard as you'd like. I know that facilities has been a problem, or definitely a call driver, but what I'm interested in today is my hardware issues. So let's have a look and see what's in here. So really quickly, we can sort this any way we want, but I did notice that there is a new ticket that has been logged, ticket 142 on hardware. When I drilled into that pie chart, I went right to the list of tickets that are associated with that request type. So right looking at the details behind that pie slice. And 142 is a new one to me, so let's have a look at that one in detail. I can see really quickly who my customer is, and as you'll see here, it's actually automatically been assigned to one of my technicians. This is something that you can set up within Help Desk Manager very easily. So for certain request types, let's route these right to a certain technician so they're the expert on it. Let's make sure they are the ones that have a look at it right away. There's different ticket types. Every request comes in as a service request, but I'm going to change this to an incident, so then, and perhaps this might be related to a larger problem later. So we'll move that to an incident. And if I keep going down, I actually see that it's automatically set to a priority of high, but I know this client and I want this dealt with right away because they're at a very critical critical time in their business. So let's set this to urgent for the technician so that they look at it as soon as they come in that morning. And very quickly, I can also type a note to my technician. If we have a look at the bottom here, we can see a couple of different options. Are the notes visible to the client, etc. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we actually look at the next part of the interface. So I think those are all the changes that I wanted to make here. So I can save that note and move on with my day. I know when Karen comes in, she'll have a look at it. So we're just looking at kind of the workflow here through Help Desk Manager. We've had a look at what the client interface looks like. We've had a look at what an administrator might see. And finally, that technician that's been automatically assigned that ticket, let's look at what they see when they come in. So you can see here I'm logged in. The interface does look quite similar. However, there are less options for your technician. The administrator would be the one who would set up all your request types, your priority types, your routing, your texts, all of that sort of thing. But right at the top of my list, I can see that this is a new ticket for me. The priority, actually, I guess I didn't say that, but that would be as urgent. And my administrator has told me, please have a look at this right away. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. Right here, we can see that there are a number of different things that are here. We talked about changing this to an incident. What I was mentioning earlier is that you could actually take that incident, have a look at other incidents or that have been logged within the ticketing system as problems. So now is there something that's actually happening at a higher level that you want to link this to? You can view these from here. When I look at the problems that are currently in the system, they don't really seem to apply, so I'm not going to be doing anything with that. But I will actually have a look, and there is some more information that I need from this customer. So we'll ask them for credentials and move it through the system like that. What I can also do is, if I have a look here, and looking at associated problems is one aspect of it. Those FAQs that I showed you in the client interface, here's an area where you could potentially create them. So I could link to an existing FAQ if one existed, or if this ended up being a larger problem, something that I wanted to make sure was available to others who might be experiencing the same problem, I could create an FAQ right from the interface right here, as well as track my work time. So perhaps I worked on this for 1 hour. So these updates are going through the system. You can certainly control how much activity or how much notification both the other technicians and your clients receive as you're moving through this process to keep people up to date. But obviously clients can also go into the client interface and have a look at their ticket history and see what's going on straight from there. So once that is all done, I get the information from the customer, I work through a number of the solution with them and get things up and running again. Very easily, just we can click this as resolved and save the ticket. So very simple workflow, but definitely something that you can kind of see the progression of the different touch points, the different ways of providing knowledge and that sort of thing within the context of this ticket. Now there are a couple of other things that I did want to show you. If I have a look at my setup, another kind of way of routing is if I have a look at the other techs in the system, I'm actually going to be out of the office next week. I'm traveling for business. So I want to make sure that tickets aren't left unattended while I'm away and people are notified. So there is a quick on vacation box here or out of office box. And as a part of that, I can actually specify who my backup tech might be. So during this time period when this checkbox is marked, tickets won't be assigned to me during that period. So they will automatically be assigned to my backup tech so that my customers aren't left kind of waiting for resolution while I'm out of the office without really knowing what's going on. The last thing I'm going to point out, and Pat did definitely show you a screenshot of this within the demonstration or the presentation that he was doing, but let's see this in action within Help Desk Manager. You can define a number of different surveys here. I just have one, a simple survey. We want to kind of start really tracking what customer sentiment is about our services and how we did. I have a default client satisfaction survey that I've defined here, and we can definitely change the ticket. Since this is something I want to start tracking more regularly, I'm actually going to set this to every ticket. And what happens then is once that ticket is closed, based on the parameters that you put in here, the customer will be notified and questioned to please fill in the survey so that you can start analyzing those results. And just make sure you're on track, they're happy, they're getting what they expected, and things are as you see them as well for your customers. As well as, it's very simple here to add a new question if that's something that you want to do. So that's a really quick run through of a very simple workflow. Help Desk Manager has a very robust set of features for help desk management, but we've definitely touched on a couple of those areas around customization, around knowledge base, around providing information for your customers, and hopefully you did get a flavor for that today. Just a quick note, as I mentioned, Help Desk Manager is a fairly new solution, but we do have a lot of customers who are already pretty excited about it and have it up and running integrated with their Incentral environments. We've highlighted a couple of those right here, but if it is something you want to learn more about, please don't hesitate to reach out. And as a final note, I just want to also put up some reference material for you. So if you have questions, we have an email address, sales@enable.com, right there where you can send them. As I mentioned, there is a free trial of both Incentral and Help Desk Manager at enable.com. And we do post a lot of interesting information kind of related to all of our solution within our blog from the Enable website. So be sure to check that out. After the webcast, and we'll give it a few days, but these slides as well as the webcast itself will be available on SlideShare. Thank you very much for attending today. We appreciate it. Please feel free to follow up and enjoy your day. Thanks.